Hey, Steve Saretsky here. Just wanted to put together another quick video. Did a blog on my website, vancitycondoguide.com, the other day on irrational exuberance in Vancouver. Basically, it's defined as the speculative behavior in a market. Basically, reading a good book right now by Robert Shiller, who is the Nobel Prize winner economist and author of a New York Times bestseller, Irrational Exuberance. Highly recommend you check that out. Gives some really good takeaways into what's been going on in Vancouver. This guy has basically studied all kinds of markets that have experienced, massive bubbles, and some of the takeaways here are uncanny to what's going on in Vancouver. So basically, how it all started here in Vancouver. A weak Chinese economy encourages people to get their money out of the banks. They want to invest into real hard assets, obviously cheap money as well. So everybody is a mass exodus of foreign capital out of the country and into safer havens such as Vancouver real estate. You look at West Vancouver, where your typical home in December 2014 was $2 million. Obviously out of the range for most local income earners. So $2 million in December 2014, that shoots up 68% to July 2016. So from January of 2015 to July of 2016, West Vancouver home shoots up 68%. Like I said, we all know who can afford that. It now sits at roughly 3.3 million. So obviously a local income earner can't afford that. So it kind of starts there. It starts in the city center in Vancouver, Vancouver West, Vancouver East, and then pushes out, like most real estate bubbles, pushes out into the suburbs as people get priced out and are forced to look elsewhere. So basically, some of these areas just experienced massive growth. You had areas, and then, 6 months after the detached market, people start reading headlines, prices are going up and up and up. People look to more affordable areas, worry about getting priced out of the market. This is where you see areas such as Mission, a single detached family home, was stagnant for 5 years, no price growth for 5 years. Then all of a sudden, multiple offers, prices jumped 58% in 20 months, 58% in Mission, BC, where there's a plethora of land. So you have the excuse where people saying limited supply of land. Just wasn't true. And you look at areas as Mission as an example. This just pushes out into areas such as Abbotsford as well. So, like I said, 6 months later, same pattern is followed for the condo and townhouse market. Starts in Vancouver, pushes out into the suburbs. I remember doing open houses, back in early 2015 for an agent in my office in South Surrey. They just couldn't sell condos out there. There was way too much inventory, too much stock. I had realtors coming up to me telling me they didn't take listings anymore for condos in South Surrey. They just weren't worth their time. Too much effort, not worth the hassle. Be lucky to sell them. And then instantly overnight, starting in January of 2016, there's suddenly an overnight supply shortage for South Surrey condos. Prices shoot up 28% from January of 2016 to July of 2016. So in a 7-month period, that prices for condos in South Surrey shoot up 28%. The same thing can be seen for Abbotsford condos. I didn't even think people bought condos in Abbotsford. If you actually look at it historically over the last 5, 6, 7 years, people have actually lost money in Abbotsford condos. They've actually declined in value. And then all of a sudden, again in 2016, prices basically are vertical and they shoot up by 32%. So an Abbotsford condo shoots up by 32%. Totally unrealistic gains. So basically what I kind of summarized from the book, there's a good quote here on speculative bubbles and how these prices just increase. And it's basically driven by, natural human behavior, human psychology. So just to quote him from the book, he defines a speculative bubble as a situation in which news of price increases spurs investor enthusiasm, which spreads by psychological contagion from person to person, and in the process amplifies stories that might justify the price increase and brings in a larger and larger class of investors who, despite doubts about the real value of the investment, are drawn to it particularly through envy of others' success and partly through a gambler's excitement. So he calls that irrational exuberance. I think that's exactly what we've seen here in Vancouver. And I think it will be the same when there is a price correction. As I said, prices are already correcting. We're seeing it first in the kind of the city center, and it's still spreading out. So like I said in a previous video, previous blogs, downtown Vancouver condos have already corrected by about 5%. That's per the MLS benchmark. And what you're seeing right now is actually in certain areas such as New Westminster, for example, the condos there are actually peaking out price-wise right now. So even though sales have been dropping and dropping and dropping, the prices are actually peaking right now. And so again, that's what you're seeing. It's the same sort of phenomenon. Basically this speculative behavior. Like I said, I think when these price gains were coming out, it's all anybody wanted to talk about. Every single headline was telling you prices are going up and up and up. Everybody wanted to get it in before they felt like they were going to get priced out forever. Encouraged a lot of speculation, people holding properties for 2-3 months, making an obscene amount of money and then quickly selling it off. There's areas such as Richmond, detached single family homes, that there was basically, in most of the areas, there was at one point, it was kind of in early 2016 where prices were basically like this on a vertical horizon in all the areas. You had Richmond detached single family home in 4 months went up by 21%. So you can just tell everybody was just instantly piling on, creating this kind of mass hysteria, which spread into areas that have no business increasing in value. Like I said, such as Mission single detached family homes, stagnant for 5 years, jumped 58%. Abbotsford condos historically losing money, all of a sudden jumped 32% in 8 months. So just kind of spread like a wildfire, and I expect the same reversal with a correction. Highly recommend you check out Irrational Exuberance by Robert Shiller, all on speculative behavior and what causes bubbles and how they correct. Alrighty, hope that helped.